Good afternoon, welcome at our artist talk with the Italian duo Francesca Grossi and Vera Maglioni, who are now exhibition in Kunsthalle Lab, Beast Mother called, and we would like to present their work, their art praxis, and their experiences. So please, could you define yourself and your work?
Thank you, Lydia. Good evening. Thank you all for coming. My name is Francesca Grossi. I am part of the duo Grossi Maglioni. You can see in the other side of the screen. We are an artistic duo, and we have been collaborating since 2006. Our practice is mainly based on performance art, installation, and workshop. We work on long-term projects, also like 7 years projects or more. Our performance practice is often combined with the production of manipulable objects, and for us they are like a device used in order to share and mediate the experience of our research with the audience and provoke cognition and vision. In fact, we often create environments in which we invite a different group of people to collaborate with us through work, lecture, or public events, which we see as an opportunity to open up the complexity and meanings of the artwork itself, and to explore issues of subjectivity and education, for example. And of course, since we are a duo, we consider a relationship a central part of our work, of our project, and work as artists. So we like to open up the process of the work to dialogue, to discover new perspective and new perspective for our work.
Thank you, Francesca. Can you explain us how did you meet and how you started to collaborate together?
Yes, we knew each other since ever, because we grown up together, and we have been together through the crucial moment of our life. We have followed a different pattern in art education, but we have been always connected and related in a strong dialogue and confrontation. In 2006, we were invited to contribute to an exhibition by our art professor, Cesare Tacchi, that was an artist from 60s in Rome. We were assigned to create a perception box, and we came out with our first performance, The Zigzag Woman. So at that point, we started our collaboration. We were both of the idea to explore our female identity. Now you can see some image from this performance, The Zigzag Woman. And so we construct a magic box in which the pelvis was the most important part. Once we read a text of Gilles Deleuze, the philosopher, about actual and virtual, and spectators were invited to touch a plaster of the pelvis inside the box. So in the action, the audience stimulate a kind of excitement, a reaction on the real performer. with this first experiment, we touch the themes that are still important for us, like interaction with the public and exploration of identity and construction of devices to mediate the experience. Now you are seeing the magic box, the zigzag magic box.
Thank you, Francesca. Vera, can you add something? Your microphone.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. Thank you, Lydia, to invite us. We are really glad to be here today. And what can I say more than Francesca explained? Our relationship is similar to a sisterhood. We are really connected one with each other. And so even if we are if we're not close, if you are far, because in our life we have had moments in which we were not in the same cities, for example, or in the same continent, we are always being connected. And so that's also a topic, like Francesca said, that we like to explore in our process, to be connected by distance. So I think it's okay.
Yes, thank you. Can you explain us how you collaborate, how your collaboration looks like? Do each one of you do specific tasks, or you are doing everything together?
No, of course, we do have specific tasks, many different tasks, because we came from different educational pattern and also different working experience. For example, I went from contemporary dance, experimental theater, and I did study history of art, and also I work with fashion. And Francesca came from painter, fine academy, and she worked with design, scenography, installation. And so we do have many different abilities that we use together. But all these tasks are strong by the fact that we share a common imaginary. We have a cultural background that we have built in all our life, sharing books, sharing passions, and that have contributed to build this huge common imaginary that allow us to be exchangeable. For example, in the process of creation, the art piece.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us something about this common imaginarium, about these idea sources you are sharing, or maybe ideas and books, literature, films, theories which influenced you?
Yes, we are interested in investigating different to society, combining artistic research methods with those of anthropology and education, for example. We have always been fascinated by action, feminism, actual and virtual relation, and anthropology, for example. At the beginning, we looked at the experience of the artist from 70s, working on the field of performance, experimenting first time the limits of and potential of the body, like Gina Pane, Anna Mendieta, Alan Kabrov, Bruce Nauman, been passionate to the experimentation, like Judson Church, for example, or other artists and choreographers like Anna Alprin. Or in Italy, a strong female artist that has been recognized only in recent time, like Maria Lai. And we are always studying and researching, trying to answer to our questions, or trying to explore and explain to ourselves our condition in society. This mother at Kunsthalle lab, for example, comes out from our recent studies, since we are experimenting motherhood in our life, and we felt engaged with this topic. Donna Haraway, Rosie Braidotti, who are two eminent philosophers, accompanied us in this research. The association between machines, monster, and the mothers, as well as Donna Haraway defined in several essays the relation of care between human and non-human. And we are also reading Maria Gimbuta's theories and research in archaeology, following the trace of the Great Mother. So they're always researching and creating this common field, this common background.
Okay, thank you. Vera, would you like to add something?
Well, it's interesting this moment in which, as a mother, Lýdia, you can understand us very well, no? We have to put all our force to resist and to exist in life and in art too. And that is a really strong motivation for us in order to study. And in fact, like Francesca said, in the last period, we concentrated our forces into go deeper inside this way to think about a woman as a transformable and multiple creature. And that's why we propose you the Beast Mother show, no? The Beast Mother topic, and we are really happy that you follow us in this in this research, because I think it's really urgent at the moment.
Yeah, I thank you very much also, and I'm very happy that I can help you and work with you. And I would like to maybe introduce you to present maybe a little bit more and describe the project Beast Mother, and also the story, which is the central part of this project.
Yes, let me show you something, no? Because it's better. Yeah. I don't know if you see my screen.
We will see, but there is still zigzag woman.
Okay, so let's that was another picture from the beginning of our collaboration that you see now in New York in 2006. We were really young. And let me see if I can show you. This is of course the graphic of the show, and this is the show that now is in Kunsthalle Bratislava, and as you can see, is a kind of camping, a settlement, because this Beast Mother show is part of a big research that we have started in 2014 about human settlement. And in this kind, in all this, all the installation and the show belonging to that project have this device: tent, ropes, pillows, and all those parts can be combined in a different way in order to build always a different settlement. So at this point, after several years of exploration, we have written a story with the audience that we have involved in several workshops and several occasions. And the story is about a creature, a child, that we don't know if it's a female or male, that grow up. So it's a coming to age story in which we follow the life of this creature and his mother. And this show focuses exactly one point of the story, the transformation of the mother in beast. So this is one part of the show, and is we used to call it the care tent, a tent where a mother and a child can live together. So this tent is made by 3 different clothes that we have done for that exhibition. Under that clothes there is the embroidered text that tell the story. So the story begins in a cave, in a night, and then, as you can see, this is the embroidered part that tell about the beast mother that transform herself in an unrecognizable beast. And we say that her shape and form become a mystery, because we don't want to point on the most terrifying part of the woman. We want to point on of the transformation. The topic of the transformation is our main topic. So the rest of the show, it's another part, and it's the child part, the creature part. So these clothes that we can see in the picture, from the other side, tell the story of the observing child. And in some way, we ask the audience to look through the eyes of the child. And looking through that eyes, they can see all the show. And also in the show, there is a story recorded that tell all the narration, and is made by the voice of a child. And there is also a little book that tell all the story from the beginning to the end. Because this story is ended somehow, but it's not ended for us, because we try to amplify and to modify and to go deeper inside every chapter and in every show and in every exhibition, in order to have, in the end of this process, a more rich story. So we have this attitude to go inside and go out the topic, and look out through the show, and then go inside by the mediation of the relation with audience, because usually we used to have workshop and performance that in this COVID time will not be possible, unfortunately.
Yes, and I would like to invite our audience in Bratislava that it's possible to see the show through the windows, as you can see, and also listen to the story from outside. And the story you can find also on our website of Kunsthalle, also the sound and also written. And I would like to also ask you, Vera and Francesca, to describe maybe the workshop you planned for Bratislava, because it's also part of your work, and unfortunately we couldn't realize it.
Well, we are really sorry about that, because we had a nice workshop that we already have tried in Rome some years ago, but that we have developed for Bratislava Lab, and was a workshop involving mothers and child. And we wanted, asked to the child to transform their mother in a beast by using costume that we could build together, that we could make together, in order to make the mothers able to define all the characteristic that the child are afraid of. I don't know if it's clear. And so we did propose this workshop to you, to the lab, but because of this situation, pandemic situation, we couldn't have it, no?
Yes, and can you maybe explain us in general the role of workshop for your work? Is this like kind of an inspiration, or which importance it have?
Yes, inside our works, the confrontation with the community, also between us, is the starting point for the development of our ideas and form and projects. Since we do participative work, we use a form of workshop, interactive installation, and performances to be in relationship with the people and the context, with the need to understand how the work of an artist can involve communities. Our workshops are addressed to a mixed audience, usually involving a general public, as well as art students, families and children, so that our project can grow in the most unpredictable ways, according to different frameworks, background, and audience typologies. We like to research and to experiment different possibilities of dialogue between people, so we are open to new perspective. In the last years, we have developed a project around themes such as human settlement, as Vera said, the figure of the woman and the mother with the exhibition, and the relationship of the people with the urban space and natural space and nature. And so those issues, for example, could be debated, developed, and enriched thanks to the confrontation with other people. So it's really the central part of our work, it's the base of our work.
Yes, thank you. We would like to also invite our audience and people who are listening us to maybe send us some questions, and we can speak with them via chat also, and you can also answer if they have some questions. And so I realized that you are using often the mask in your project, which is the motif, which is turning back in various your projects from during a long period. Can you explain us something about this idea of the mask, on this role of the mask in your works?
Well, it's a nice question because we are not we never pointed like you did, and yes, we do use masks. I can share my screen and, for example, show you this picture. I don't know if can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, it's for example, here we in this project we have made 30 different masks, and of course could be a very good device, the mask, in order to embody different characters that because we believe that when you embody something, when you put the clothes of somewhere else on you, you can really perceive something that is different, and so we did use to mask each other in order to camouflage, for example, so to disappear in a landscape, for example, or in order to amplify our impact in a landscape, for example, or with people, for example. So, or for example, we have a play attitude. We love to play and to pretend to be, and we did use it in an infant and child way, as well as in a very, very serious way, no? So that's it.
Thank you. And maybe you can continue to view your other works and to find some lines which are connecting all your art creation.
Yeah, in order to do that, we thought that maybe to present the show that you have created in Rome in 2017 was a good idea, because that show, Campo Grossi Maglioni, was a kind of retrospective that you have created, no? And it show presented three big project that we have developed in our career. So it's a nice point, no? To use this show in order to present our project. So you can see in the slide that this project that you maybe already can perceive, no? But at the beginning, Francesca were talking about this the zigzag woman, the magic machine that you see on the left of the screen, no? The Grossi Maglioni Magic Duo were the name that we did use at the beginning of our collaboration, because from 2006 to 2011 we did work only around the topic of magic and illusionistic practice. We were used to dress like illusionist always, and our name was the Grossi Maglioni Magic Duo. So we did use to play with the rules of the big culture of the spectacle that magician and mediums were used at the beginning of the 19th century. So the second project, Lo Sguardo che Offende, started in 2011, when we decided to leave all this magic matter, change our name in Grossi Maglioni, and start working on the matter of perception. So how we can change our way to perceive in order to be able to change the landscape that front us. So was always working on body, on presentation of performance, of working, of workshop, but our focus were maybe more outside our body. So how we can change our perception of the landscape. And the third project, Occupazioni, that is now at the point of the Beast Mother in Kunsthalle Bratislava, is the third project. So, and we can see, this is a little resume of the show, that one, for example, this art piece, the Do Spirit Return, this black tent, has the eyes, as the hole in the eyes. That is a recurrent time in our practice, and was like a room in a room. People were invited to look inside those little holes, and inside we put it two magic boxes that characterize all the magician project. So this is a 5 device in one. A kind of furniture, transformable furniture, that resume 5 different performances that we have done. For example, the first picture show a transportable machine that we have used in one performance. The picture, the first on the left, show a magic cabinet, and the back part of on the left there is a seance table, and at the center a Ouija board, and on the right side there is another séparé that was used, for example, in medianic practice in order to see what was happening inside the cabinet by using the hole again. And this is the zigzag woman that Francesca were talking before. And lo sguardo che offende. Lo sguardo che offende, it's nice described by those optical weapons. We call it optical weapons. So they are like gymnastic machines, big one that you can use with your body in order to train your ability to point, to punch, and to modify the landscape in front of you. So this way, no, those are like targets that you can use, no, in order to point your eyes. And here we have the clouds of targets that is also in Kunsthalle, and is part of this project. And this too is a device that you can use for this training. Here are the bags that you can use in order to bring these targets kits outside and use it in the landscape, for example. And here is the book that we have produced in order to tell, to resume, and to explain all the process of the gaze that offends, lo sguardo che offende. So there is a training manual and a device that you can use to improve your abilities, and a mask. So 30 different masks for 30 different books. And the third part, but maybe the biggest of the show, Occupazioni, were a big, huge installation made by ropes. Ropes put in a way that looks like a Canadian tent, so already meaningful. And we did use this structure of ropes in order to change our settlement. Every 15 days, we did have a workshop with different kind of audience, and with the audience, we build every time a different settlement. So that was the first that came from our experience and past exposition, and a workshop that we have done in Rome with children and mothers. And here there is another workshop with people from various ambient. And with those people, we build a landscape. You can see, no, it's various. It's there is this part that we call it the village, for example. And on the right of the screen, there is a nest, for example. And then we had another one with students from Art Academy. And with the students, we build a targets forest, in which we had a performance, a battle of gaze. And the last workshop, we use it in order to build the last settlement, a tent for assembly. And with this assembly tent, we close the show. But we continues to work on this topic. And we had another workshop with children, for example, in which we build another village, telling about, working about the future of the village, no? How can a perfect village could be, for example. And then in Novi Sad, in Serbia, we built a perpetual dialogue tent for the first time. That was an installation. Under that, we had many workshops with children, with mothers, with expertise of various fields, in order to go deeper inside the story that we have written during all those workshops. So this is Serbia, the same installation in Italy, in Rome, and then another step, the puppets. Because we have this idea that we bring to Bratislava too, to put a fake creature inside the installation, and maybe this could be a connection between the people that comes from outside and see this child, this creature, this strange figure inside the show, and try to understand, is a real baby, is a real kid, or is a fake, and why is in this situation. And so we use it in order to create a diorama of the story, but also to facilitate a identification in the story. So it's a process, an ongoing process that we are written with you now, for example, in Kunsthalle Bratislava, and the occupazioni will keep going for a long time, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask something? I would like to turn back to gaze, which offends. Can you explain it a little bit more, like how the gaze can offend, or which are the roots of this idea, like maybe, I don't know, post-feminist or...
Well, but are you asking me if the gaze that offends can be also used between people, in relationship between people?
Also, no, I would like to explain it more, because it's quite strong word that gaze offends. So why offense?
Offense, because we think that in order to really perceive, you have to be active. So offense, in a sense that when you offend someone, you are putting your efforts in something, and so that's why we want to use this strong word in order to say that you have to be active. You can't be passive, no, in perception, and that really you are a protagonist in what you are watching. So you are not a passive observer, but you are a protagonist of the observation. That's why you call it offense project. But Francesca, want to add something?
Yes, yes. The idea of perception is it's really important in this Lo Sguardo d'Offende project, and we came out in the project with some sorry, I don't remember the word, with some book that we read, a science fiction book. It was Lo Psicospettro, and in that book there was a kind of war, a kind of creature that used to live inside the rocks. So we had this idea of conflict with the landscape, and so we like to start to reflect on this possibility touch the landscape with the gaze and modify the landscape with the gaze by your observation. And so we start to create those and also the target kit that now are exhibited in to give this idea that while you are watching something, you can also hurt something. You can define reality, but you can touch the thing that you are seeing, and of course you can also hurt. So.
And also, you have to think that we live in Rome, and Rome is full of archaeology, and our landscape it's always a landscape of ruins. So sometime when you watch so many ruins, you can. You can overlap in your mind an ancient landscape and a post-apocalyptic war landscape. For example, for us that we are passionate in science fiction, it's very easy. So it's interesting to do this this double layer vision, no? That and postpone ruins, archaeology ruins from ancient Rome, and a post-apocalyptic landscape, and sometimes it appears in front of us, this vision, and it's interesting that if you look at this archaeological ancient Rome ruins with this gaze that offends, you can have this kind of mental confusion and think to be in the future and in the past at the same time. So we did used to have this kind of fantasy imaginary too. So
yes,
we are very serious student, so we study a lot, but at the same time we want to be free to have this vision.
Yes, and also I would like to say that when we start with the project, we were in residency in Matera, that is in the south of Italy, and so we were working on the landscape of Matera, strong and really unique. Because it's a natural landscape, and the city is constructed inside the landscape, inside the rocks. So we had this vision from far away, no, of Matera. I look at that it's really a post-war landscape for me.
Yes,
so
in Matera,
it was also connected to the story of Matera, because Matera had a strong history, because the people used to live in those houses inside the rocks, and the people were really in the poverty. So in a certain point, this is the people were take off, and they went to other houses in the periphery. And for Italian history, it was really a strong moment. And now Matera is famous for the cultural heritage, no? So we can see Matera as a beautiful place for the landscape and for the history, but the history has something really strong, really dramatic also. Sometimes we have to see the things in another way, no? In order the story, the meanings of the things.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe we can continue because I see that you have a lot of pictures and a lot of projects prepared. So let's go through them.
Maybe Francesca, can you keep on?
Yes, maybe.
Gesti di relazione.
Yes, we have the last project is Gesti di relazione, and but before Gesti di relazione, I would like to say something more about Occupazioni Campo Grossi Maglioni, because Campo Grossi Maglioni that you, Lydia, created together with Gianluca Brogna in also the starting point for the story that now is exhibited in Kunsthalle Bratislava, because the story came from a workshop that we did in Album Arte. So maybe it's interesting to say these things. And then, yes, about Gesti di Relazione is another project in which the relation is an ongoing project too that we started in 2000. It's about a relationship and the images and we investigate the relationship between two people through the representation of the body and the gesture, as you can see in those images. Here you can see two gestures, furia animale, animal fury, and amicizia, friendship. Our interest is to open up the meanings and iconography, relating individuality with imagination and perception of identity. Actually, we are creating a catalog of gesture by taking images from our personal memories as historical and political picture, or also from other artists. Now Vera is showing a page in which some image that we collected in order to create a monster, that gesture that you can see on the screen. And we presented this project in several places, a festival of performances curated by, and also we presented a performance at in Rome inside the Villa Torlonia Museum. So we presented this performance. It was a site-specific work, study of the iconography in the context of the museum, and we made a collection of gesture from the painting, and we wanted to work on gesture that was power dynamics. Now you are seeing some images that was composed by an audio and a dance. The audio was spread through headphones and was a dialogue between me and Vera. And about the gesture represented in the painting, and also in gesture represented in our personal image, and with recording also some intimate episode. You can see the audience was wandering around looking for gestures in painting and dance. So this is of course an ongoing project that we will develop in the next months together with this mother that are now the and the future projects. Some image of their video still, because we are working also on video. And yes, and those are different gestures. Like Carriola and yes, Animal Fury and different friendship and monster, etc.
Okay, thank you. We have also several questions from the audience. Can I read them?
Sorry, Lydia?
That we have several questions from the audience. Can I read them? You can, I will tell you. There is Otto Hudec, who is a Slovak artist, and he's asking, what is your experience with the participatory work with audience from pedagogical point of view?
So may I answer? Okay, so from pedagogical view, we in our life we are also teachers, because with Francesca me and Francesca both we have a parallel profession, and we are professor too in art, so at the children and at the university. So we have an approach that is didactic, but the workshop that we are used to do during the process of the project are always different, because every workshop every workshop means something different and help us to develop a special aspect of the project. So, for example, when we involved children and mothers, we were in a psychological studio with the mediation of two psychologists that help us to tell with the kids and with the children, with the mothers, in a way that that could never damage their sensibility, their sensitivity. So in some way we did use always a different didactic approach. We are really take care about that. So respect to the, when we are in a different context, we did use a different approach. When we involved our students from Art Academy, we did use another didactic approach, of course. And when we involved the people from, for example, by using the newspaper announce, so we are ready to welcome different people, and so we did use a different approach, of course, but we are really interested into didactic way. So
thank you. Here is another question of Otto Hudec, and it is, how much do you leave the creative freedom to the participants, and how much control the creative process do you try to maintain?
That's also a nice question, because we did work on it a lot, because at the beginning the workshop were less controlled by us, and in the end was hard to us to collect all the material to make the result in a form that was proper for us, no? So now that we are a bit more expert, we did we did left free the audience, but we encourage to follow a path that we give at the beginning. And in the end, we have to always re-elaborate a bit the material in order to make it more adherent to our poetic. So,
thank you. Here is another question, still by Otto. How do you create common enthusiasm and engagement?
I don't know. First of all, we want to enjoy ourselves and be happy about what we are doing, and so we first of all we enjoy us, and then we hope to make it feel our joy to everyone. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. And this is the last question by Otto. In addition, do you experience different ways of involvement between kids and adults?
Yes, of course. Like I say before, no? Francesca, want to say something?
Yes, it is totally good. And so the first things maybe is the time we can spend for the workshop, because I don't know, with students of 20 years old, we can have 1 week workshop. We can have maybe 2 or 3 hour workshop. So the first things is the time, and then also the space, because when we have the workshop with the small kids, with like Vera says, with the psychologist, and we also construct a safe space where we can do some special tasks, like transform the mother in a beast, for example. That is something that could scare a child, no? So I don't know if I answer to the question.
And also, we always offer a breakfast, or because conviviality many times start from sharing a breakfast or a tea or a coffee. So food is important too.
Yes, thank you. There is also another question from other artist, Zuzana Hrušková, and she's referring to the picture, Vera, you have behind you. And the question is, more than beast, it feels like the ghost. Which one do you feel like, Vera? Can you show us?
Can you repeat, please?
Okay. More than the beast, it feels like a ghost. Which one do you feel like, Vera? Because of the pictures you have behind. Artwork you have behind.
This one.
Yes, exactly.
This one, it's a mix between a figure of the woman and the beast. And the characteristic of this beast came from the workshop with kids and mothers, because, for example, they recognize like a beast characteristic to have a beard, to have a long, what is the name of the nails, and so in this picture there are those characteristics overlap a figure of a woman. So was that clothes was the beginning of the process of the beastification of the mother, that now we are.
And the question was, how do you feel, like more like beast mother or ghost, or how is your like feeling?
No, we are a multiple layers multiple personality, multiple everything. I feel full of potentiality that I can explain also also with my best part.
Okay, thank you. So maybe we can continue to see other projects.
No,
Maybe
but that was the last one. Otherwise, it will take hours.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So you also told us that you are the mothers and you are the artists. And also we often spoke about the situation between us in Italy, like how it is, how the artists and especially mothers feel like. And maybe you can tell us how is it now and how it was in spring. I remember your manifest you wrote also with Sara Basta, another Italian artist. Maybe you can explain us more about this.
Yes, because when we had the lockdown, we decided to write a letter, an open with Sara Basta, that is a friend of us and is an artist that with us is discussing the role of mother together artist. So we decide to write about our situation about in Italy, but also we know that it's a common situation with other artist parent spread all over the world. In Italy, especially, we don't have any as artists, as mother artists, but also as artists. So from the pandemic, there was a big movement in order to construct a new system of rules, and also because we need to affirm our needs and our rights, no? So we spread the letter and we collected sign, and we have been invited to the Forum dell'Arte Contemporanea in order to discuss the artist mother needs related, I don't know, to artist residency or art exhibition, or just in order to gain the most basic right that mother that is working need, you know, in the life, like I don't know, money for care or support in the first year of the child from of the child. So it because it had a good feedback.
And had it changed something or had moved something? Did you perceive that something small or something bigger?
May I say the letter have been very endorsed by all our colleagues, most of our colleagues, because it's true that artist has no right in Italy. In fact, during the pandemic, we had no helps at all. And the mothers, parents, artists are less than zero. So we did have any helps, and everyone can recognize that and can say that it's the truth, no? So after that, we were invited in several tables and meetings, in order to read letters to the government, in order to make the art ministry more aware about that topics. And actually something happens, because the ministry now is listening our topics and is changing a bit the way how we can accede to fellowship and grant, for example. And also they have been created a trade union after the pandemic, in which all our identities of artists, young artists, woman artists, mothers artists are represented. The name is AUI, and it's new in Italy. We never had a trade union of art in Italy. So something is changing a bit. But a big change has to be made in society, in the way in which society consider our figure, no? So the mother that become a monster is something that has to make people think about the way how they perceive motherhood and how they want to see motherhood. Okay, so we have to work a lot. But something, a little piece, it's gone.
Thank you. Nice to hear it, because it could be also inspiration for Slovakia or for other countries, for other realities. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to fight for our rights.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe I will ask again the audience, the public, to ask us something, because we are going to the end of our meeting. And in the meantime, I would like to ask you something about your future projects, about your plans in next year or next future.
Well, in the next months, in the end of the show that you are hosting, part of the show will go to Rotor, that is a Kunsthalle in Graz, in Austria, and with a part of a new installation. There will be also two of the clothes that now are in Bratislava. And the show in Rotor will be open until September, so from May to September. And after that, in November, we are invited in Kaunas Biennale, that will take place from November for 1 year in Kaunas, in Lithuania. And in this occasion, we will present a big installation about the Perpetual Dialogue tent. So always a Occupazioni project. And in the end of Kaunas, we still have not the exact period, but we will have a big show in Rome, in Auditorio Parco della Musica. And in 2022, we will go to Novi Sad Culture, European Culture Capital. But we still don't know what we present. So that's all the plan so far.
Thank you. Yes, so I don't know, maybe if you want to add something, or
maybe something about that I forgot to say about the figure of the mother, because we really want to point about the fact that the monsterification, the beastification of the woman is not how can I say, this wild instinct that comes out. It's something different, because we have to consider this beast transformation a huge potentiality for women, for mothers, not in a evil and terrifying way, not only in this way, but also in this way. And for example, when we think about to be mothers and motherhood, we have to think that it is something that can exist only in a dialogue with another creature. Because if you are parents, it means that you have a baby, no? So you are two of you in a dialogue with someone. So it's always when there is a dialogue between you and someone else, it's always something that changes you. So that's important for us. In all our project, there is this strong volunteer, this strong idea to change ourselves by the mediation of dialogue, by talking with something, in a dialogical way. So for us, to be mother means to be double, to be in a dialogical perspective. Okay, so that's important for us, and not to think about these monsters transformation only as a terrific, as a wild instinct, that no, but also like a potentiality of self-transformation that we can do by dialoguing, by the mediation of dialogue with yourself and your creature. Because even when your creature is growing up and it's away, you remain in this state of take in a discussion, take in a dialogical way. So that's very, very important for us. That has changed our perspective when we have become mothers. So that was a point that was important for me.
Thank you, Vera. And you, Francesca, would you like to conclude somehow?
I think Vera says perfectly the point of the project. So I don't think I have to have but for sure we would like to thank you for hosting the exhibition, and it's also strange to have an exhibition in this time, no, with the pandemic, and we are so far away. So
yeah, it was interesting to install also the show through video calls and so on. So it was also kind of strange experience. Yeah.
Mm. But we are lucky that that you involve us in this project, because the difference between Bratislava and Italy is that in Italy, since the beginning of the pandemic, all the museum and the art institute are closed.
Also here they are closed, but we are lucky that we have this great space that you can see the show through windows. So also we are closed, but still the people can see the show and they can listen to the story. So that's perfect place.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So thank you, Lýdia.
Yeah, thank you very much.
To believe in us and in our project.
Yeah, I would like to also thank to Italian Cultural Institute in Bratislava who supported us and our exhibition. And yeah, thank you again and keep in touch. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye to all.